Can't find time to write? Writing in the nooks and crannies of life and never sure when or if you're going to get your words in this week? If this is you, I have a time management system for authors that's going to make your writing life a whole lot easier. Stay tuned. Okay, so I have been there. I have been the person who is trying to build a business with my writing or even with my courses, and there's so much to do. You have this long to-do list, and you only have a few hours a week to work. You still have a job, you still have a life, you probably have kids to take care of, a significant other, things to do in your community and your church and the whole 9 yards. And you're just kind of guessing when you're going to get stuff done and hoping you get a few things done this week. Now, when you actually sit down to work, you're going to do the best you can to maximize that work time and get as much work done as possible. But it never really seems like enough. Even though you might have sat down for an hour or two and gotten some things done, you have so many things on your to-do list that you're constantly worrying about not getting everything done and when you're going to have time to get something else done. And it just feels like this long list extending out in front of you, and you're never going to quite get a handle on it. I mean, I've been there. I did that for years. Okay, so I totally know what it's like. And the biggest problem with something like that isn't that you aren't getting the work done, because most people, if you're taking whatever time you have to cram in work, you are getting work done. You're making progress slowly but steadily. But the problem is that the psychological element of it, okay? Because you're constantly stressed about what you didn't get done and what you're going to do next and when you're going to do next, okay? And, what are you going to do about it? There's really no solution, right? If you're trying to get your writing done and you're determined to get your writing done, but everything's in flux and you can't write at the same time every day and you don't have the same amount of time every day and your schedule is changing weekly or daily, there's not really anything else you can do. You just have to push through and write whenever you can. And you've probably heard me say this on the podcast. Most people these days, especially when they're starting out, cannot jealously guard a single chunk of time every single day to write. That would be nice. That's what we all would love to do. But especially when you're starting out, most people are writing in the cracks of life. They are writing when they put the baby down for sleep, or getting up in the morning before work, or, just having to really carve out the time in tiny little chunks of their life that they actually have. So it doesn't seem like there's really much of a solution for that, right? Not quite. That's actually why I'm doing this podcast today. And don't get me wrong, even I do not write at the same time every day. My life too is crazy, and I don't have a particular set time. But this time management system that I'm about to give you is specifically for people who are in that predicament, who don't have much time, who are not yet using their writing as their main 9-to-5 job, all of that. So here's the thing. Even though it seems like this is the best way to do things because your schedule is always changing, I promise you, if you use the system I'm going to give you today, you'll get more done, have greater peace of mind, and be a lot more productive. And remember, this is specifically for those who don't have much time to write and are often writing during different times of the day, or are trying to write around and between everything else they have going on in their life, right? Is that you? I bet it's most of you. So why would this help you be more productive and have greater peace? It's because of what I talked about earlier. It has to do with the psychological aspect, with the peace of mind aspect, okay? Anytime we're stressed or uncertain about something, it automatically makes us less creative and less productive. And that's just a fact, guys, okay? If we're in a lot of turmoil and stress and worrying about things all the time, worrying that we didn't get enough done and we don't know when we're going to have time again, we literally get less done even when we're working because of that stress that's on our brain. And that's exactly what we're trying to avoid, okay? So I bet by now you're wondering what exactly this time management system is. It's actually pretty simple, but most people are not doing this. So get out your paper and pen, and this is what I want you to do. Okay, number one, you're going to sit down with your schedule or a paper and pen, whatever works best for you, and I want you to write in, pencil in every task, every appointment, everything that you already know you're going to have to do this week. So this includes working, chauffeuring the kids around, any kind of social appointments you have, exercising, anything that you know you're going to have to get done during the day that's going to take priority over your writing. We all want to prioritize our writing, but we also know that we have other things going on in our life, and we can't just not take the kids to school so that we can write, right? We all know that. So you're going to write everything that you can think of that you're going to have to get done every single day of the week down so that that is scheduled and it's not going to get in the way later on because you forgot about it, right? So you're acknowledging that those things need to get done. You're not going to be writing during those times, and we're planning for that, okay? If you can't get out of it, if it's not something that you can put off till later, then you might as well plan for it. All right, so after doing that, you're going to highlight any other times in your schedule that you're looking at, even if they're just nooks and crannies, a few minutes here, a half hour there, that you're not specifically doing something else, okay? These are the times that you have to write. These are the times when you're going to be able to sit down and work. So you're going to add this time up and figure out how many hours you have next week to do some writing in. Now, the next part, number 3, is something that you may have already done, but if you haven't, then you're going to need to. You need to figure out how fast you write, okay? So it's going to be a matter of how many words can you get down in an hour. Now, if you've never figured this out, if you've never done this before, you're going to learn by doing this system, because you're going to need to plan for how much you can get done in each of those little chunks of time. And of course, this can be actually writing words. This can be planning if you're like an outliner or somebody who needs to, sit and think about things and plan beforehand. It can also be editing, but you just have to kind of get a feel for how long it's going to take you to do that, so that you'll know how much work you can get done in any chunk of time. Now, if you've never done this before and you don't know how long it takes you to write, you're going to take your best guess based on, your past writing. And it's not set in stone. You can definitely tweak it once you learn. So maybe you have no idea how long it takes you to write, and you say, okay, I think I can get 2,000 words done in an hour. But after doing this for a week, it turns out you can only get 1,500 done in an hour. Or maybe the opposite. Maybe you're getting more like 3,000 done in an hour. Doesn't matter. No right or wrong. You're just going to figure out how long it takes you to get some writing done. You're going to learn and tweak as you go, and of course you're going to be learning and tweaking with each new task or activity. If you know you need an hour to sit and think and hash out your outline, then you'll know that that's about how long you need the next time. If it's taking you an hour to write 2,000 words, but 2 hours to edit them, okay, then at least that's information that we can use to lay down our schedule, okay? So there might be a little bit of a learning curve at the beginning. And the great thing about this is that eventually you're going to be able to predict how long it takes to finish a book. If it takes you X amount of time to write 2,000 words, we'll use that still as an example, and you know that you write 80,000 word books. Let's say it takes you an hour to write 2,000 words, and you know that most of your books are right around 80,000 words. Well, you can do the math and figure out that it's going to take you about 40 hours to finish the first draft of that book. If you've got 2 hours a week, it's going to take you 20 weeks. This is what I'm saying. Of course, that doesn't include editing or maybe outlining, but you can add those in as you go, and you'll be able to predict how long it's going to take you based on your current schedule to finish your book, okay? There's a lot of power in that. It's very empowering to know that you can schedule something and it's going to get done. So the beauty of this kind of time blocking and time management is that even if you only have, say, an hour a day when the baby is sleeping, you can knock out that hour and not be stressed about it. You'll know that everything will get taken care of in its time because you've already planned for it, okay? So my point is, you're gonna block your time for the week, you're gonna plan what you need to do, what you need to get done, and you don't have to just haphazardly try to get as much done as possible, right? You're already going to have planned for it. And so as you work, you take your little block of hours, say on Monday and then say on Wednesday, you will know that you can get, maximize your work time during that little block of time. And you don't have to worry that other things aren't getting done because you've already planned them throughout your week or subsequent weeks, okay? So my point is, you're eliminating that factor of worry and stress. You can sit down, knock out your work for that day, and then be very present in the rest of your life because you know when you're going to get your writing done, that it is going to get done, and you're not stressing about whether or not you're going to get the words written or when the next time you're going to have to write, okay? This is really, really a powerful time management system, and I would actually encourage you to do it for every part of your life. Time block everything this way so that you're not stressed about anything that you need to get done, okay? Like I said, it's a pretty simple system, but I've done it myself and it works very well, and it just takes out the stress and the psychological element, and you can be confident and comfortable and empowered knowing that you will always have time to get everything done because you've already planned it that way, okay? So let's do a recap. First, you're gonna sit down with a schedule, piece of paper and pen, whatever works for you, and block out all the appointments, all of the tasks that you already have to do for this week. Then you're going to look at and highlight the extra times so that you know exactly when you'll be able to write. And keep in mind, this includes sleep. Obviously, you got to sleep. And so block out the time for sleeping because you know you won't be writing then as well. And that way you know exactly what chunks of time you have over the week to write. Then you have to figure out how fast you write and how long everything is going to take you. And that part might take a few weeks because you may not know and you may have to tweak. And that's perfectly okay. You're going to learn a lot about yourself and your writing abilities while you're doing this. And that's pretty much it. Then you will be able to write in whatever time you have and not stress about anything else. Okay, so this was kind of a quick tip episode, not very long, but I just wanted to give you this as a way to help maximize your writing time and take some of the stress off of your shoulders. Now, if you're the kind of person that sits down and doesn't know what to write or feel like you end up kind of wasting a lot of the working time you do have because you're staring at a blank page, or you're struggling with what happens next in your story, or how to end it, or how to transition to the next scene, anything like that, I am here to help you. And I do still have quite a few slots open this month for Master Storyteller coaching. So if you'd like my help with that, I can help you hash out whatever you are struggling with. I usually start out with something specific, but we can talk about anything you want, anything that you need help with. Just go to bit.ly/story theme, which I will also have linked in the show notes, and sign up for a session of Master Storyteller coaching, okay? Let's get your story written, let's get it finished, and let's get it out to the world. All right, that is it for today. It was just a quick episode that was really fun to do, and I hope that it had some value for you. So go forth and write some great stories, and let's change the world one story at a time. See you next week.